the government is launching a once-in-a-generation opportunity to protect victims of domestic abuse. The Prime Minister will announce the start of a consultation on a new bill that will include proposals for the first ever legal definition of domestic abuse and the possibility of electronic tags for abusers. However, charities are still concerned about how refuges will be funded. Sky's Rhiannon Mills reports.
Yeah, well, women turn up all times during the day and of the evening. In fact, the majority of women and children will turn up in the middle of the night, so 9 to 5, but 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. as opposed to the traditional office hours.
Yeah. Olwyn Kelly has run this refuge for the past 5 years.
And when they arrive, they will have the clothes that they're wearing. The children, more often than not, will be in their pyjamas. And that's because they, have been put into police cars because it's not safe for them to stay in their own home.
At the moment, they're looking after 35 children, from a newborn to a 16-year-old, who've come in with their mums.
Well, what are the kind of areas that you need to try and work with those children on?
Definitely trust is a big one, so with adults in general, any outsiders to the family, if they've been encouraged to keep secrets or to protect certain family members. Anger, dealing with anger in positive ways is something that they need help with, and anxiety, so if they're having trouble sleeping, that's something we'll help them with.
OK, so this is our one of our emergency rooms.
The consultation announced by the Home Office includes the first ever legal definition of domestic abuse, which will also include economic abuse, things like controlling a victim's finances. New powers so courts can put tags on perpetrators to protect victims, and extra funding to support survivors, especially when children are involved. But charities are still critical.
My concerns are that with a lack of funding already for specialist refuge services like mine, that the money will be going instead to police, to prisons, in taking these perpetrators through the criminal justice system. But what about victims?
I was talking to Olwyn earlier.
Anne came here with her 3 children. She'd been in 2 abusive relationships. The first was physical, the latest psychological abuse. We've changed her voice.
He would look through the windows, let himself into my house, knock on the door late at night, shout nasty things about me in the street. He would stand in the doorway all dressed in black and not very nice things to deal with. My kids were really scared. I needed the refuge. I've had some amazing support and I'll never forget what this place has done for me. I'll always be grateful.
While we were filming, they got calls about more women needing their help.
So we've had 2 referrals that have come in for that one room. So the decision we've got to make today is who do we offer that room to.
And this is 2 women who are at a point of crisis and need help.
Yeah.
Difficult.
But when you walk around the corridors, it does feel... Theresa May has said that tackling domestic abuse is a priority. But there is still uncertainty for those who run refuges. And without commitments on funding, they fear that women won't get the help that they need. Rhiannon Mills, Sky News.
It is International Women's Day today. New research out has found that millions of working women face financial insecurity, and it comes at a time when they appear to be getting an unfair deal when it comes to the economy. With a continuing gender pay gap, as well as the so-called pink tax, why are women being paid less and charged more? Well, joining us now to discuss this, Sam Smethers, Chief Exec of the Fawcett Society, who campaign for equal rights. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Why is it that women are being paid less and charged more?
Well, the pay gap has got multiple causes, but fundamentally it's all about undervaluing women and the jobs that women do. So you'll find that women are concentrated in sectors where it's particularly low-paid work, and the survey we're releasing with the Living Wage Foundation today really highlights that, with 3.5 million women working below the real living wage. So they're really on the breadline, these women, and they don't have any cushion to fall back on. So fundamentally it comes back to undervaluing them and good old-fashioned discrimination.
So their salaries are lower than men in a lot of cases, and then when they go to the shops they're getting hit with the pink tax. Explain to us exactly what that is.
Well, we did a lot of work on this a few months ago, and we found that a basket of toiletries, for example, women were paying 31% more for than men.
We're not talking about fancy toiletries,
no,
are we?
just
High-end
basics.
cream names, but we're
Yeah.
talking about shower gels, razors, things like that.
Yeah, deodorants, that kind of thing. So basically, it was very, very basic basket of toiletries, and we deliberately found things that were comparable between women and men, and they were being charged 31% more.
And then if you paint it pink...
Well, we also looked at toys and found that a scooter, for example, that was blue was £5 less than a pink scooter. They were exactly the same product, but they were branded differently and presented differently, and so it was being charged more because it was marketed for girls, and that's just outrageous. It's just fundamentally unjustifiable in a modern economy for that to happen.
It feels like this year it's been called the Year of the Women, which I know a lot of women will roll their eyes at, but it seems like there is a sea change this year and women are using their voices more. What practical advice can you give women, particularly when it comes to the gender pay gap, in addressing that in the workplace? Because it still will be difficult for women to approach their male bosses and confront this issue.
The key thing that women can do, and this is relatively easy to do, although we have a massive taboo about it, is talking about pay. Asking your colleagues what they earn. If you share pay information with your colleagues in your team, in your division, in your part of the organisation, then you will find out whether there's any inequality going on or whether there's likely to be, and that gives you the information you need to challenge it.
And it's letting men into the conversation,
Absolutely.
isn't it? Because there are a lot of men in the workplace who support women and equal pay. Use them, use their voices to help your cause.
Absolutely, and it was really notable this week that there was an open letter signed by women and men from the BBC Women Cause looking for transparency at the BBC. So absolutely, we need men on board, and there are more and more male allies, but we need to really make this about everybody, because this is about our economy, it's about our productivity, and we all set to gain.
Yeah, it's International Women's Day and women mean business, quite literally. There's been a letter organised by the Daily Telegraph called Women Mean Business. The Fawcett Society have signed it, as have the likes of Samantha Cameron and Baroness Brady. And it talks about the support women get when setting up their own business. And the statistics are startling. It says that while 33% of new businesses are started by women, they attract just 9% of the current startup funding. It's been proven that women can add to the economy. They're an untapped resource. Why is there no stampede by business and investors to cash in on this?
Well, I think we're dealing with a fundamentally male model of work, and it's the same as the sort of blinkered view when it comes to something like investment. People aren't seeing the potential, they're seeing the norm, and the norm is it's a male model, and that's what they're funding. So really we fundamentally have to challenge that. And women are increasingly shifting into self-employment, into this kind of entrepreneurial activity, because it gives them the flexibility and control they need over their lives, because they, balancing work and care is one of the big reasons why women do it, but they're not getting the opportunities from the banks and the investors, and that really fundamentally needs to change.
OK, Sam, really interesting to speak to you. Maybe one day we won't have to talk about this.
Absolutely. Maybe one day, every day will be International Women's Day.
Exactly. Sam Smethers from the Fawcett Society, thank you very much, very much.
So women need more help, women need more loans, more help and more time off. I agree 100% that the same job should get the same pay, but women often don't have as much work experience. Women are unlikely to consider working as a lifelong career, and to stay working for as long, and are therefore an expensive low row when they leave after a few years to have babies, look after their mum, etc. It's true that women are underrepresented in top jobs, but they are also scarce in the dangerous, dirty, cold, unpleasant jobs. And look at what a great job the UK PM Theresa May is doing, reducing the weight women soldiers, RAF, police etc. use in training. Sounds romantic, but not equal. And will the enemy be so gentle with women? Women soldiers and police officers etc. are not put in the same situations as their male counterparts, and yet get the same pay. Is that equal? Or fair? And when we say women, does that include gays, transgender, gender confused, little men and big strong women? Women don't want equality. They want everything, world domination at any price. If women are equal, why do they need all this extra help? Successful men and women were strong and smart, they didn't get extra help. Surely this is only a PR exercise, and all this help and anti-men conspiracy by media and government will result in the weaker business people starting a business, but will perish in the global economy. And with all this sexual harassment at work, mostly unproven, often untrue, including MPs etc., surely women will have to be put in isolation at work to avoid all these sick and perverted men. I'm not saying that women are bad, but can't we just accept that women are different to men? To conclude, media and government think women are equal, but they need more help with everything, more money and more support, from government and men. I have said enough now.